Now let's start with the discussion of the NCERT questions first. So the first question here is, what is Sahib looking for in the garbage dumps? Where is he and where has he come from? So Sahib is looking for useful material for himself and his family in that dump of garbage, and he is living in a slum, he's living in a slum in the city of Delhi, and the place is Seema Puri, which is in the outskirts, in the periphery of Delhi, and he has come from Dhaka, which is in Bangladesh. Second question. Okay, the same question is in the other language also, which is, what does Sahib look for in the garbage dump? So he's looking for things that could be useful for him, and that is exactly what he's looking for in the garbage dump. Question number 2. What explanations does the author offer for the children not wearing footwear? Or the same question in a different way. What does the reference to chappals in Lost Spring tell us about the economic condition of the rag picker? So here they are saying, the author means to say that she has witnessed too many scenes, too many incidents in her life where she feels that in some of the cases, the reason for not wearing the footwear, she thought that it's probably the tradition of the country, as a tradition of some or the other custom or ritual. But she feels that in most of the cases, she has an idea, she feels that it is the abject poverty, that is the extreme levels of poverty in which the families are, because of which they are unable to afford the basic necessity of having shoes, having chappals. And that is the reason she understands that it is because of their poverty, it is because of their poor economic condition that the rag pickers do not have chappals, and she always finds them barefoot. Question number 3. Is Sahib happy working at the tea stall? Explain. Or how was Sahib's life at the tea stall? Same question again. What job did Sahib take up? Was he happy? So Sahib one day met the author, and he told her that I have now started working at a tea stall down the lane. And he was carrying a steel canister, that is a steel container, and then he even informs the author that they are paying me 800 rupees, they're giving me all the meals of all the for the entire day. But when the author questions Sahib that, are you happy working there? And at that point, the joy, the happiness on his face, in his eyes actually vanishes, because here Sahib feels that the steel canister that he is carrying is not what belongs to him. It is belonging to the owner of the tea shop. So he now has a master. Whereas as a rag picker, the plastic bag that he used to carry on his shoulders belonged to him. So he kind of had lost his independence, lost his freedom, because now he is working under someone, right? So therefore he becomes a little unhappy. Next question, talking about the text. First question here. How, in your opinion, can Mukesh realize his dream? So Mukesh can realize his dream if he actually, keeps dreaming about it, keeps daring about it. At no point he gives up his dream. He works very hard. He actually goes and learns how to drive a car, and therefore, that is how he would be able to achieve his dream. Second question. Mention the hazards of working in the glass bangles industry. So there are a number of hazards which are associated with working in the bangle industry. The foremost being that people, including children who work there, tend to lose the brightness of their eyesight. They tend to lose their eyesight at a very young age because of the dust that is there, because of the hot furnaces that they are working nearby, because of the glass material, and because of the improper lighting and improper air that is there. So it affects their eyes a lot. So the most important thing is that it affects the eyesight of the people who are working there in such hazardous conditions, such unsafe conditions. Next question. Question number 3. Why should child labor be eliminated and how? So child labor should be eliminated because children, they are not adults. So they should be given that care, they should be given that warmth, they should be protected from the hazards of life. It is their age where they should enjoy their innocence. It is their age where they are blossoming just like flowers, right? So they should be protected. They should be, there are various actually other needs that should be met, like that proper diet should be there, proper food, health, hygiene, education. These things should be focused upon rather than sending the children to work. Yes? So therefore child labor should be eliminated. And how can we eliminate? Well, there are a number of ways through which it could be done. First, creating awareness in the society. Second, some kind of acts could be passed. The role of NGOs and government organizations and the government is very important. Then the parents, they should be made aware about children going to school, getting educated, being protected, rather than going and working in unsafe areas. So this is how, in some of the ways through which we can actually stop or eliminate child labor. Now, questions under understanding the text. First question: what could be some of the reasons for the migration of people from villages to cities? So there could be a number of reasons because of which we find there is a large scale migration of the people from the villages, that is from the rural areas, to the urban areas, that is the towns and cities. Some of them could be better work opportunities. In the rural areas, mostly people are involved into agricultural sector. Some people may have land, some may not. Whereas if they come to cities, they have a wider exposure. They have a number of options available for work. So that is there. So a better work opportunity, varied work opportunity, better wages, better conditions of life, and better facilities. So these are some of the major reasons because of which we find large scale migration taking place from the rural areas to the urban areas. Question number 2. Would you agree that promises made to poor children are rarely kept? Why do you think this happens in the incidents narrated in the text? Well, this is most likely to be true that yes, promises that are made to the poor children that are hardly being kept. Why? Because sometimes people just want to take undue advantage of the economic conditions of such children, such families, and or they do not really actually care about their upliftment, and all that they are trying to look at is their own motive. For example, there could be some kind of people who suppose, they give false promises that, okay, if they become their leader of the community, if they become the MP or something, then they could actually implement certain things, do some good for them, for these people. But most of the cases, not all promises are kept. Yes, and in the context to the narrative, in the context to the story, here also the author was just having a conversation with Sahib where she said that why isn't he attending school? And when the child said that because there is no school and one day she will surely go to school if it gets constructed in his neighborhood. So the author just said that, okay, what if I make a school, will you come? So he just agrees. So and there the intention of the author was not really to tell him that yes, she was going to build a school for him. It was just in the flow of conversation she said that. And the poor child actually believed it. He became hopeful of that. So this kind of gave it, became a false promise for that child. Question number 3. What forces conspire to keep the workers in the bangle industry of Firozabad in poverty? So a number of forces conspire to keep these workers in that vicious and that cruel cycle of just getting involved into the bangle industry in Firozabad. And these are the sahukars, the money lenders, the bureaucrats, the policemen. They all are involved, who tend to give loan to these people, and then when the people who are not able to make that much money after working from generations in this bangle making industry, the loan keeps on increasing, the interest keeps on increasing, which these poor people are unable to repay. As a result, they are constantly involved, or they are unable to break that cycle of working in the bangle industry. Now, after discussing the NCERT questions, let us look at some of the questions that have been asked from this story, this chapter in the previous board examinations. So here we have the short answer type questions. Question number 1. Describe the irony in Sahib's name. So the irony in Sahib's name is that Sahib's full name was Sahib-e-Alam, which literally means the Lord of the Universe. Whereas, contrary to his name, Sahib was a rag picker who lacked basic necessities in his life. Second question. Why had the rag pickers come to live in Seema Puri? Or, to which country did Sahib's parents originally belong? Why did they come to India? Or, why did Sahib's parents leave Dhaka and migrate to India? So same question, just with a little answer modification here and there, but the central idea of the answer is same, that Sahib came to live in Seema Puri and he migrated to this place from his house in Dhaka, which was in Bangladesh, because his house and his fields were completely destroyed by the storms. So he came and he migrated, he inhabited Seema Puri, which is in the outskirts of Delhi, where we find many such families of rag pickers residing. Question number 3. What did garbage mean to the children of Seema Puri and to their parents? Or, in what sense is garbage gold to the rag pickers? So here the answer would be slightly different, where if I'm talking about the first part, then what does the garbage mean to the children and to the parents? So for the children, the garbage meant something that is, wonder, that is something that is wrapped in wonder. That is, it comes out as a surprise at what are they now going to find. Whereas for parents, this garbage is a source of their livelihood, is the basis of their survival. Now, if I talk about the second question, that in what sense is garbage gold to the rag pickers? So here gold is because they are talking about the money that they might find in the garbage, or the basic necessities or basic necessities items, some things that they can use in their life from the garbage that they get after searching through it. Therefore, that has been described as gold for the rag pickers. Next question. Okay, so we had this question in other language also, which said garbage to them is gold. Why does the author say so about the rag picker? So this part and the last part is having the same answer. Next question. What kind of gold did the people of Seema Puri look for in the garbage? Again, this is very similar. The people for Seema Puri look for gold, that is for items that they can use in place of cash, or some money that they might find while searching from that garbage dump. Next question. Describe Mukesh as an ambitious person. So Mukesh belonged to a family who was involved from generations into the bangle making industry in Firozabad. Now in Firozabad, many families, or most of the families from generations, have been involved in the same industry. No one has actually dared to do something different, to dream something different. But here the author meet Mukesh, who is very daring, who is repeatedly saying that he wants to become a motor mechanic. He wants to learn how to drive. So the willpower of the child, his strong determination, his hard work, his his daring to do something different is actually telling us that he is a very ambitious person. Next question. What is Mukesh's dream? Do you think he will be able to fulfill his dream? Why? Why not? Same question in other language. Who is Mukesh? What is his dream? Or, is it possible for Mukesh to realize his dream? Justify your answer. So all the three questions have more or less the same answer. So Mukesh, the dream of Mukesh is to become a motor mechanic and to learn how to drive. Now for this, he is very persistent, he has a strong willpower, he has a strong determination, he is working really hard, and he also has a plan of action that he will go to a garage which was far off from his place, from his house, but still he would go there and learn how to drive. So with this hard work, with this strong determination and willpower, he shall be able to achieve his dream, to realize his dream. Next question. Okay, again we have the same question asked so many times in different ways. The same question is put up in two other ways as well. That is, what was Mukesh's dream in your opinion, did he achieve his dream? So this is an opinion. You have to give your point of view because this is not given in the story. So you can rebuild depending on how you are presenting your answer. Next is, why is Mukesh's dream of learning to drive a car a mirage? That is too realistic to be true. 7th, it is his karam, his destiny. Explain. So it is his karam, it's his destiny is a line that has been said in the text by Mukesh's grandmother, who has seen her own son working in the industry very hard, but still he was not able to do much for the family. He could not even send his children to school. All that he could make them learn was how to make bangles. In fact, she has seen her own husband losing his eyesight working day and night in that bangle making industry. And now therefore she feels that probably from generations it's a lineage of their family to work in the bangle making industry. It is their fate, it is their destiny that she feels, is because of which everyone, like all the generations, are getting involved into the same bangle making industry. Next question. Why could the bangle makers not organize themselves into a cooperative? So the bangle makers could not organize themselves into a cooperatives because they are trapped from generations by these sahukars and middlemen, the policemen, the bureaucrats who have given them loan, which these people are unable to repay, and the interest keeps on increasing. So even if these people try to organize themselves into a cooperative, then they shall be beaten up and taken to jail by the policeman. Next question. In spite of despair and disease pervading the lives of the slum children, they are not devoid of hope. How far do you agree? So well, in the case of Mukesh, we can say that yes, he was living in slum, but still he was hopeful that he is also witnessing that his grandfather, his father, and probably everyone in his neighborhood is working in the same industry. Still, he is hopeful that he will be able to realize his dream. Yes, he is very, very hopeful with that. Question number 10. Whom does Annie Jung blame for the sorry plight of the bangle makers? So Annie Jung blame the middlemen, the sahukars, the policemen, the security forces, everyone involved who are not letting these people come out of their state of poverty. Rather they are the ones who are trapping them and pulling them in the vicious circle of the bangle making industry. Next question. What does the title Lost Spring convey? So here the spring is a time of the season when we see the new flowers blossoming, new leaves, new flowers blossoming, right? And here the children are compared to those flowers who are what? Children are in their budding age, in their growing age. They're very tender. They need care. They need love. They needs to be protected. Then they have their certain needs in their life that has to be fulfilled. But here, in such cases, in the narratives that we have read, in case of both the narratives that we have read, we are saying it is lost spring. That is, that innocence, that love, that affection that should be given to these children who are blossoming, who are growing up, is actually taken away from them, is being snatched away from them because of the conditions of their family. And hence, they are in fact involved with the adults to work. Yes, and this is the reason we say that it is lost spring. Next question. Which industry was a boon and also bane for the people of Firozabad? How? So the bangle making industry is both a boon as well as a bane for the people who are involved in the who are working with this bangle making industry in Firozabad. Now it is a boon because it is actually providing occupation to large number of families from generations who are able to have a livelihood, are surviving because of this. But it is a bane because from generations people are basically, it seemed as if they are cursed to work here and they are not able to move out of this vicious trap. Next question. How are Sahib and Mukesh different from each other? So Sahib and Mukesh are different from each other because Sahib is the one who is content, who is satisfied and is happy, enjoying his independence and freedom being a rag picker. Because there he feels that he is his own master. because when he gets a job and he starts working at the tea stall, so there he finds a steel canister very heavy, and he realizes the fact that now, in spite of the fact that he's getting a regular wage, he's earning more, he's getting meals, still he is working under someone, right? So he was missing that freedom, that independence that he enjoyed while being a rack picker. Whereas in case of Mukesh, he is also belonging to a family who've been involved into the bangle making industry from generations. But here this child Mukesh seems to be more courageous, more brave, more ambitious, and he has a very strong willpower where he dares to dream something different. He has a different goal in his life. He wants to become a motor mechanic. He's very much strongly believing that he wants to go and become a motor mechanic and learn how to drive a car. So he seems to be more determined and has more courage and has a better strong willpower if we compare him to Sahib. Next question. Listening to them, I see two distinct worlds. In the context of Mukesh, the bangle maker's son, which two worlds Annie Jungs is referring to? So the two world that the author Annie Jung is referring to is one, the world because of which it is like people belonging to a certain caste. They are born to in that specific caste, and therefore naturally it has become a part that okay, they will have to work in the bangle making industry. And the second world that she's saying is that of those sahukars, those middlemen, money lenders, and the policemen, bureaucrats, and some security forces who are not letting these people to come out of their state of poverty, who are actually pulling them in more in the state of poverty. Now the next set of questions after short answer type is the long answer type questions. So the first question here, Seema Puri, a place on the periphery of Delhi yet miles away from it, metaphorically. Explain. So here the author says that Sahib has migrated from his hometown Dhaka, which is in Bangladesh, to India. And in India, he's living in the outskirts, in the periphery of Delhi, in a place called Seema Puri. And this Seema Puri, in spite of the fact that is actually at the outskirts of Delhi, still it seems miles away from it because Delhi is very developed. Yes, it has basic facilities almost everywhere. Whereas if we compare the situation of Seema Puri, which is very close to Delhi, there we find that there is no proper facilities that is there, no proper development has happened. Most of the land is wild and it's just not maintained. And many places are actually the slum areas where basic hygienic conditions is not there, proper drainage system is not there, the sewage system is not there, food supplies. So basic development, the basic necessities of life are not being developed in this part of Delhi. Therefore, it seems that even in spite of being a part of Delhi, it seems to be very much away or it seems to be miles away from it. Next question. Give a brief account of life and activities of the people like Sahib-e-Alam settled in Seema Puri. So, the life and activities of the people who like Sahib-e-Alam who is living in Seema Puri is that there were almost 20,000 such families who were living there, just like Sahib, who had migrated from Bangladesh because of the floods which had destroyed their fields. But they prefer living in these conditions here, in those improperly built houses, basically slums, where basic necessities of life is not there. But why? Because they are hopeful of getting something from that garbage dump instead of having nothing when they were in their own city. That is Dhaka. Also here they've been living from 30 years or some are even living for more than 30 years and they are not having a proper identity card. All that they have is a ration card, which for them is very important because that enables them to have food. And for them, food is more important than their identity. Next question. Sahib is no longer his own master. Comment. So Sahib is no longer his own master is what he feels when he starts working in the tea stall where he's working under a master. Whereas when he was a rack picker, he was satisfied with his freedom that he had, which was missing when he started working at the tea stall. Next question. Describe the difficulties the bangle makers of Firozabad have to face in their lives, or describe the circumstances which keep the worker in the bangle industry in poverty. So these questions have been discussed under the short answer type questions, where here you're going to talk about those conditions of work, working near the furnaces, high temperature, improper light, air, etc. That has to be written. Here we have to talk about those sahukars, middlemen, and the other people who are involved to keep maximum families involved from till generations to work in this bangle making industry. So you need to build the answer on these points for these questions. Next question. Question number 6. It is his karam, his destiny, that made Mukesh's grandfather go blind. How did Mukesh disprove this belief by choosing a new vocation? Vocation means a new occupation, and making his own destiny. So this same question is there under the short answer type, or so you have to answer the same part, just that this part is added, that how Mukesh is acting differently. So this is again what was Mukesh's dream. There was a question in the short answer type where we were discussing that how he's very strong in his willpower, he has very hard work, he's doing hard work, he's determined, he's daring to do something different. So those two answers needs to be merged, and that will form the complete answer for question number 6. So I repeat here again, please refer to the short answer type section and you would find the complete answer for question number 6 here. Moving to the next question, question number 7. The bangle makers of Firozabad make beautiful bangles and make everyone happy, but they live and die in squalor. Elaborate. So yes, from generations these people are making beautiful bangles which have a sacred meaning for the Indian bride, yes, post marriage. But most of the people here who've been working day and night so hard in those harsh conditions, and from generations that are involved into this, their living conditions is very poor, because most of them do not have a house, most of them are not able to give basic necessities to their children, most of them are still not able to have proper meals in a day. So therefore, even if their bangles, the beautiful bangles that they are making is making everyone else happy, but for themselves, for these people who are doing that, it seems that they do not have the basic necessities also to enjoy. Next question. How is Mukesh's attitude towards his situation different from that of Sahib? Why? So Mukesh's attitude is different from that of Sahib, where because Mukesh seems to be more daring, he has a stronger willpower, he has a strong determination where he wants to become something else. He's daring to break that family chain of being in a bangle industry, and he wants to learn how to drive a car and become a motor mechanic. Whereas Sahib, he is content, he is satisfied to be as a rag picker, where he enjoys his freedom, and as compared to when he starts working at the tea stall where he's paid better, he's getting meals, still he feels as if his inner happiness is not there. Why? Because he has lost his freedom, now he's working under someone. So Mukesh seemed to be more courageous, more daring, has a better willpower as compared to Sahib. Next question. Lost Spring explains the grinding poverty and traditions that condemn thousands of people to a life of abject poverty. Do you agree? Why? Why not? So yes, we agree. Yes, we do agree that this is actually, if you compare both the stories, be it the case of the rag pickers highlighting the case of Sahib, or you highlight the case of the bangle makers, that is Mukesh, you will find so many instances in both the stories where you see that people are working so hard from such a long period of time. Rag pickers are there for more than 30 years, and these bangle makers in Firozabad, generations are involved. Still they are lacking the basic necessities of life. They are not happy. Yes, so you have to highlight that, build an answer upon this point. Next question. Most of us do not raise our voice against injustice in our society and tend to remain mute spectators. Annie's Jung is her story, The Lost Spring, vividly highlights the miserable life of street children and the bangle makers of Firozabad. She wants us to act. Which qualities does she want the children to develop? So she wants these children to actually learn, to dream something else. She wants them so that one of them should become a leader, to show way to others, to guide others. She wants them to go to school, to get educated. Yes, so all these things, she wants them to be aware, enjoy their innocence. Yes, and try to come out of their state of poverty, their miserable state that they are living in. Next question. For the children, it is wrapped in wonder. For the elders, it is a means of survival. What kind of life do the rag pickers of Seema Puri lead? Or, garbage to them is gold. How do the rag pickers of Seema Puri survive? So these questions are discussed under the short answer type questions. So please go to that section and you will find the complete answer being discussed. So on this note, we have completed the second story, The Lost Spring, where we have done the narration of both the stories. We have also summarized the stories separately and even discussed the NCERT questions as well as the past few years questions that have been asked by CBSE in their board examinations. So everything is done, and this story was very simple, very interesting, and something that even we see. We are also aware about child labor. Yes, and we are also witnessing that somewhere or the other in our everyday life. So now it is time for us to act. Create awareness is the first step. So on this note, I wish you all the very best and I'll meet you next very soon. Thank you.